Sup fans, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here, and today we're going to be quickly covering I'll do it as best I can, a spoiler-free review of, and also a quick review of, House on Eden. Yeah, the new kallmekris, Selena Spooky Poo, film that they did, that's available on Shudder, coming up right now, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Alright guys, quiet on set. Scene 1, take 1. Action. Boom! Now, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you share with your friends, and also hit that bell for notification, because, well, it does help the channel a lot. And if you're new here, welcome, sit down, relax, and enjoy the show. And I would kindly appreciate if you guys do hit the subscribe button, because I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, folks, so let's make that happen. House on Eden, sorry guys. It is directed by Chris Collins, and of course stars Chris Collins, Selena Spooky Boo, and Jay, her editor. So yeah guys, basically it's just a, best I can summarize is that a bunch of like ghost, thrill seekers, they're supposed to be like these vloggers, YouTubers, or TikTokers, and just they go off and do some ghost hunting. They're supposed to go to a graveyard and all that stuff. But then again, Chris is like, no, there's this house over there in the middle of the woods and all that stuff that we gotta go. So they go in the woods, and of course, spooky shit happens. And yeah, guys, it's a found footage film. So yeah, guys, it's like a 78-minute movie. So, but then again, I'll get onto that. So guys, let's just get on to the review. That is just my plot synopsis here. I was actually very excited because I subscribed to kallmekris. I love kallmekris. I loved her since those TikTok days, and I'm glad when she became a YouTuber. It was really awesome. I love Selena Spooky Boo. She's really nice and all that stuff. Even though I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in demons and none of that stuff, watching their ghost hunting videos is really fun. So that is really cool. And also, I love Jay. He's actually one of the best YouTube editors out there. So shout out to Jay for that. You know what? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Selena Spooky Boo for the first ever feature-length film being presented in film festivals first, and just being out there theatrically, and finally available on Shudder. That's where I first saw it, because I actually wanted to catch a screening of this, but I missed out on it. That was like what, a month or two ago. But it is here on Shudder. I have Shudder, so yeah, that's how I saw it. And well, let's just get on to like my my positives here. Congratulations on Chris Collins and everybody, just their first ever feature film, something. Hey, they accomplished something before I could. So yeah. And no guys, I can really tell, I can tell that this film had a lot of heart and passion into it. The story is so paper thin, but that is kind of the point there in a way, because this is meant to be a homage to like the Blair Witch Project and just fun found footage films and all that stuff. But then again, Blair Witch Project, even though it had a light story, it still had some setup there. I still think that the story is just better and stronger there and all that stuff. But then again, yeah, they meant it as a tribute to those great found footage films. Not just found footage, but just like old school horror films that they love growing up and shit. I love growing up watching as a kid. So no, but then again, I could tell there was passion and creativity behind that, and I could tell there was effort there. Actually, the acting is not that bad, but it can get iffy here, and I'll get to that later there. I think Jay is the best actor there, really, because when he reacts to everybody, he reacts to everything. He's actually the most logical person there, and he makes the most logical faces someone would make. Selena Spooky Boo, she's actually charming, but she can get very obnoxious. I get that they're trying to create, fun characters. Sometimes it comes off very obnoxious. So yeah. And Chris, she's great too. It's just that, I know that her character is supposed to be like a bitch and very controlling and all that stuff, but I feel like sometimes, like she can, like her character can cross, her on-screen character kind of crosses the line a couple things, and yeah, no, but other than that, it's, yeah, the acting is pretty decent, the cinematography is pretty decent, and sometimes when stuff does happen, it is pretty neat. And also, I do love the 8mm, 60mm footage that they mix in with the digital camera stuff, which is really nice. And also, I'm jealous that they got a better camera than me, so yeah. But, no, other than that, folks, yeah, this movie, I find it to be a big disappointment. As much as I enjoy the acting, sometimes the acting can get too much for their overacting, or it's not that convincing. Chris, when she gets mad at Jay and Selena in the movie, like, it's just not really convincing. It just feels like very forced, like, oh, we gotta create conflict. Let's try to create some conflict, and yet it doesn't feel that way, if that makes any sense. It just feels like when she's yelling and talking down to Jay, how he's useless and all that stuff, and Jay's just getting rightfully upset over it. The way she delivers her lines, it feels so fake. Like it feels like a 78-minute YouTube video that's horribly staged. Kind of like Sam and Colby. And speaking of Sam and Colby, They have a cameo in this film, and it was just fucking cringe. Not a fan of Sam and Colby, you know. So Sam and Colby fans, you can come after me all you want, but yeah, not a fan of Sam and Colby. So yeah, all right. So back into that. And Selena Spooky Booze. Selena, she's fun in the film, but sometimes she gets so obnoxious. Where like, it's like, oh my god, she's very annoying. And Jay. Now, no, I got no problems with Jay. Jay is actually pretty cool, and there's a lot of scenes where they're. I understand it's an R-rated film, but I feel like they use a lot of curse words, and I hate when movies do that. When they use a lot of curse words just to look like, hey, look at that, we're R-rated, let's cuss and shit like that, you know? No, it's just stupid as hell. Oh yeah, we're R-rated, we're edgy. Ooh, what they fucking do? That's one of the big criticisms I have for the 2021 Mortal Kombat. But then again, that's a whatever. But yeah, I just yes, that's gonna lead into the script here. The script, I think Chris said they mostly improv it and all that stuff, and I could tell because I can tell like there was when it comes to the script, I can tell there's no story. They're just going to this house in the middle of the woods, no explanation until like Chris talks about, oh, there's a missing girl back in the late 40s or some shit like that gets missed. She went missing, but then again, it doesn't really go anywhere. And I guess the story, there's some moments where it doesn't go anywhere much. I mean, the closest one I think is because it leads into the final like 3 to 5 minutes into the film, kind of leads up to something. I think it's brought up about the Bible, about the Garden of Eden and all that stuff. They brought it up with this Google search on Wikipedia that Chris just pulls out. There's a moment, not spoiling much. There's a lot of moments where Chris is thrown up and she just reveals to Selena, yells at Selena actually, and she just says, "I'm pregnant." That subplot doesn't really go anywhere, in my opinion. Not really much. Maybe towards the end. I'm not gonna spoil that, but maybe it's the end of that. I don't know, but whatever. Because there's some moments where like the characters become so generic, you kind of tune out a bit, and the pacing it is so slow. Yeah, so yeah, the writing is not that very good because it feels like everything is just forced and half-assed, and it's just like, it doesn't feel organic when it's flowing through. Unlike like the Blair Witch, it feels, a lot of it is improv, but they were given a script, they're giving directions on what to do though. And the story is strong and the acting is much better. You actually feel it's more convincing with Heather, Mike, and Josh just in the woods. You actually feel like something is going on there. Over here, it just doesn't feel that convincing. It feels like it's trying to like copy Blair Witch a bit too much. And the pacing, it gets very slow. When there's stuff happening, it happens, but then it doesn't, if that makes any sense. There'll be moments where this is lady sitting, like just standing close to the camera. They set up cameras in the house and she's just standing there. And what happens? She just locks the door. But then again, nothing happens. I hope I'm making sense here. And when there are some scares there, the execution is not that good. You see somebody standing or rushing, or they just see someone standing and then somebody just trips and then like it just kind of breaks the tension, which is whatever. And the climax, I actually gotta say, it's actually well shot and directed. I gotta say that. But there's a couple of moments where like there's some quick cuts here and there that it just feels like, oh, you're just cutting out some good stuff there. And yeah, and also the cinematography. As much as I actually quite enjoyed the cinematography in this movie, the color palette, this is just me. I think the color palette is a bit too washed out and blown out compared to like, other found footage films where it's a bit more vibrant. Like the blacks are much more well balanced and the whites are much more balanced. Here, it feels so blown out and washed out where there's not a lot of color or vibrance or like just nuances to it. Where it actually feels like a 78-minute YouTube video rather than that. But yeah, guys, this movie's kind of like kind of all over the place. It's trying to be this, but it cannot. But also it's trying to be this, and I also feel like sometimes I feel like it's trying to be like a horror comedy, but execution wise it doesn't feel like it. It feels like something that is trying to be serious but it comes out comedic, or it's trying to be comedic but it comes out serious. I hope I'm making sense here. This film really feels very disjointed and disoriented when it comes to its direction. There are some great concepts, but it's just so poorly executed because there's barely a script, there's barely a story there. The story, in my opinion, is the biggest problem with this film because it takes a while for things to get going, and once things happen, nothing happens. And now I'm getting to that. And yeah, even the characters, they're very one-note in dimension where you just don't care what really happens. So yeah, I would say I'm disappointed, but I wouldn't say this film is horrible. I still think I think it's bad, but not too bad. if that makes any sense. I'm very disappointed with this film. But then again, at the same time, I congratulate Chris and crew that they've finally got the project up and running. So I applaud you guys for that. I really do. So with that, folks, I would give House on Eden a 2 out of 5 stars. So yeah, guys, very disappointed with this film. But then again, I love that Chris saw the criticism and she actually like took it professionally, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna work on another project soon, and she's gonna improve on it. So hey, that's what I love about this. This is what I love about filmmaking. So hey, my first film that's on YouTube, it's pretty shitty, but I do my best to do better. So yeah, guys, that was my review of House on Eden. And yeah, guys, disappointed with that film. But overall, guys, you know what? Hey, it's her first film, so I gotta, give her at least the benefit of the doubt there. So let me know down in the comment section down below what you guys think of House on Eden. I would love to know. Please let me know down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your opinions on it. So this is Javi from JAVIWOOD Productions signing off, and I hope you guys enjoyed this show. And that's a wrap.